You have a box of it shoved to the back of a cupboard right now, half forgotten, and you probably think it is just for making cakes rise. That box cost you barely $1, and it might be the single most useful thing in your house. I'm going to show you 31 ways to prove it. Everything you are about to see, I learned from my grandmother Yuki, who could do things with a $1 box of baking soda that looked like sorcery. Tenderize the toughest meat, wash pesticides off your fruit, put out a fire, make old silver gleam. The reason it works across all of it comes down to one simple thing. Baking soda is alkaline, it measures about 8.3 on the pH scale, and it neutralizes acid on contact. That one quiet property is the thread running through this whole list. So stay with me, because number 3 could genuinely save your kitchen one day. Let's count them down. Number 31, the creamy bean secret. If your beans turn out grainy or take forever to soften, the fix costs almost nothing. Add 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda per cup of dried beans right into the soaking or cooking water. Japanese home cooks have leaned on this for generations. Here is why it works. The alkaline water dissolves the pectin, gluing the cells together, while the sodium pushes out the calcium and magnesium that stiffen the skins. The beans cook down soft and buttery every single pot. Number 30, impossibly bright greens. You blanch broccoli and it comes out a sad, dull olive. My grandmother Yuki's greens were never that color. They practically glowed. Her trick was a tiny pinch, less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, in the boiling water. The chemistry is simple. That slight alkalinity protects chlorophyll, stopping acid from stripping the magnesium out of its heart, which is what turns greens gray. One warning she was strict about: use only a pinch or the same alkalinity turns them to mush. Number 29, velvet tender stir-fry meat. Ever wonder why the beef in a restaurant stir-fry is silky while yours turns out chewy? This is the answer. Toss 8 ounces of thinly sliced beef with 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, let it sit 30 minutes, then rinse well and pat dry. It is an old trick in Asian home kitchens. Raising the surface pH keeps the proteins from bonding and seizing as they hit the heat, so they stay loose and juicy. Cheap cuts transformed into something tender. Number 28, the tomato sauce rescue. You have simmered a beautiful pot of sauce and it tastes sharp, biting at the back of your throat. Reach for the box. Stir in about 1/4 teaspoon per cup, no more, and watch for tiny bubbles rising. This comes down to the lead trick behind so much of this list. Baking soda is alkaline, and it neutralizes that excess acid on contact. The sharp edge melts away and the tomato sweetness comes forward. Add it slowly, because too much turns the flavor flat. Number 27, shatteringly crisp roast potatoes. If yours come out soft instead of crunchy, the secret is in the parboil. Add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda to the water you boil them in first. The alkaline water roughs up the surface and coaxes out a layer of starch that clings on and crackles in the oven while feeding the browning. Drain, rough them up in the pan, and roast hot. Restaurant roast potatoes, a craggy golden crust over a fluffy center, straight from your own oven. Number 26, fried chicken. Crispy skin without a fryer. You want a shattering crust from the oven, not a soggy, pale disappointment. Pat the pieces bone dry, then rub about 1 teaspoon per pound over the skin before baking. Japanese cooks who love their fried chicken know this one. The reason is twofold. The alkalinity speeds up the Maillard browning, so the skin colors faster, and it releases tiny carbon dioxide bubbles that make the skin porous, so it crisps rather than toughens. Deep golden crackle over juicy meat and no oil. Number 25, caramelized onions in 15 minutes instead of an hour. Real caramelized onions usually mean standing over the pan for 45 minutes. Here's the shortcut. Add 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda per pound of sliced onions early as they sweat. The alkaline shift speeds the browning and breaks the onion's flavorless inulin into sweet fructose, so they collapse and turn deep brown fast. One honest caveat, they come out softer, closer to a jam. For soups, spreads, and burgers, that is exactly what you want. Number 24, taming wild mountain vegetables. This one is pure Yuki, pure old Japan. When she brought home warabi, bracken fern, and other sansai, the wild mountain vegetables, she never cooked them straight. She soaked and blanched them with a spoonful of baking soda first, the modern stand-in for the wood ash her own grandmother used. This is not superstition. Bracken carries a harsh, mildly toxic compound called tequiloside, and the alkaline soak plus heat breaks it down and leaches out the bitterness, a centuries-old detox that makes it safe and tender. Number 23, washing pesticides off your produce. A quick rinse under the tap does surprisingly little. Instead, soak your fruit and vegetables in cold water with 1 teaspoon of baking soda per 2 cups for 12 to 15 minutes, then rinse. This is lab-tested, not folklore. In a 2017 study at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, led by food scientist Lily He, a 15-minute baking soda soak removed common surface pesticides from apples through alkaline breakdown. The catch? It lifts residues off the surface, but cannot reach what is absorbed deep inside. Number 22, turning plain spaghetti into ramen noodles. This sounds impossible until you try it. Boil regular spaghetti in water with 1 tablespoon of baking soda per 4 cups, adding it slowly so it does not foam over. The noodles turn springy, yellow, and chewy, tasting far more like ramen than pasta. The science is elegant. The heat converts baking soda into sodium carbonate, a stronger alkali that mimics kansui, the alkaline water noodle makers in Japan have used for generations. It firms the gluten and shifts the color. Real ramen from a box of spaghetti. Those first 10 were all about the kitchen, and that alone earns the box its $1. But stay with me, because baking soda walks right out of the kitchen and into your medicine cabinet. Watch for number 14 especially, the one Yuki reached for after every heavy dinner. Number 21, instant relief for bites and stings. Next time a mosquito or bee gets you, skip the scratching. Mix baking soda with a few drops of water into a thick paste. Spread it on and leave it 10 to 15 minutes before rinsing. The itch comes from acidic compounds in the insect's saliva or venom, and baking soda, being alkaline, neutralizes them, calming the reaction at its source. The American Chemical Society has demonstrated exactly this acid neutralizing effect. If your skin gets irritated, stop and rinse it off. Number 20, genuinely fresh breath. Most mouthwash just lays a coat of mint over the problem. Baking soda does something different. Dissolve half a teaspoon in 4 ounces of water and swish it as a rinse. Rather than masking the smell, the alkalinity neutralizes the acids and volatile sulfur compounds that odor-causing bacteria produce, removing the source instead of hiding it. Home cooks have kept a box by the sink for this for generations. It is the cheapest breath freshener you will buy, and unlike a mint, it deals with the cause. Number 19, a brighter smile. That dollar box is also a gentle tooth whitener. Once or twice a week, brush gently with a paste of baking soda and a little water, or use a toothpaste that contains it. The action is mechanical. Baking soda is a very mild abrasive, scoring only about a 7 on the dental abrasivity scale, low enough to buff away surface stains without grinding your enamel. 2 cautions. It carries no fluoride, so it does not replace your regular toothpaste, and brushing too hard or too often is still too much. Number 18, a natural deodorant that works. Here is a fact that surprises people. Fresh sweat has no smell at all. The odor only appears once bacteria break that sweat down into acidic waste. That is where baking soda steps in. A light dusting under the arms, or a pinch worked into a little coconut oil, neutralizes those acids so the bacteria cannot make things smell. Many people have quietly ditched their aluminum antiperspirant for this. One real caveat: your skin is naturally acidic and baking soda is strongly alkaline, so if it stings, use less or stop. Number 17, a gentle face and body scrub. When you want to slough off dead, flaky skin without an expensive exfoliant, make a soft paste of baking soda and water. Massage it over your skin in slow circles, then rinse clean. The mechanism is mild abrasion, those fine, rounded crystals lifting away dull surface cells to leave skin smoother. It is a generous little ritual, but treat it with respect. On sensitive or dry skin, use it sparingly, not daily, and always follow with moisturizer, because even a mild scrub can leave delicate skin tight. Number 16, the soothing soak for sunburn and itchy skin. After too much sun, a run-in with poison ivy, or the maddening itch of prickly heat, run a lukewarm bath and pour in about half a cup of baking soda. Sink in and let it work. The relief comes from the same reliable mechanism. The alkalinity neutralizes acids sitting on irritated skin and calms the sting. Generations have reached for this simple comfort. It costs pennies, and on a miserable, itchy evening, it can be the difference. Number 15, the reset for tired, smelly feet. At the end of a long day on your feet, fill a basin with warm water, stir in 2 or 3 tablespoons of baking soda, and soak 10 or 15 minutes. 2 things happen at once. The alkalinity neutralizes the acids behind foot odor, and the soak softens rough, calloused skin so it is easier to smooth afterward. It is one of those old-fashioned comforts that never stopped working. A $1 box and a bowl of warm water, and your feet feel human again. Number 14, fast relief from heartburn. This was the one Yuki reached for after a heavy meal. Dissolve half a teaspoon of baking soda in 4 ounces of water and sip slowly. It works because it is a true antacid. The baking soda neutralizes the hydrochloric acid in your stomach almost instantly, turning it into harmless salt, water, and a little carbon dioxide, which is why you burp. Now the serious part. Use this only occasionally. It is high in sodium, not for chronic reflux, and anyone with heart or kidney concerns should ask a doctor first. Number 13, reviving retainers, dentures, and mouthguards. Anything that sits in your mouth all day picks up film, buildup, and a stale smell. Give it new life by soaking it in a cup of warm water with 2 teaspoons of baking soda dissolved in, then brushing gently. The soak loosens residue, the alkalinity neutralizes odors, and the mild abrasion lifts stubborn buildup without scratching the surface. It is cheaper than any specialty tablet and keeps them genuinely clean. Rinse thoroughly before you put it back in. Number 12, scrubbing fish and garlic off your hands. Yuki cooked fish nearly every day, and her hands never carried the smell to the table. Here is how. After handling fish, garlic, or onion, rub a little baking soda over damp hands, then rinse. The smell comes from stubborn sulfur compounds that ordinary soap struggles to shift, and baking soda neutralizes them directly instead of covering them up. It is a small thing, but exactly the kind of practical wisdom a lifetime in the kitchen teaches. 30 seconds at the sink and your hands smell clean. Those body uses you will reach for again and again. But now comes the part most people never see coming, because baking soda quietly runs the rest of your house, too. These are the most surprising yet, so stay for number 4, which looks like a magic trick. Number 11, deodorizing carpets and upholstery. When a rug or couch starts holding onto smells from pets, spills, or just years of life, you do not need an expensive spray. Sprinkle baking soda generously over the fabric, let it sit at least 15 minutes, longer for stubborn odors, then vacuum it up. The powder works into the fibers and neutralizes the trapped acidic and basic odor molecules where they live, rather than perfuming over them. Homekeepers have relied on this forever, the cheapest way to make a whole room smell fresh. Number 10, rescuing smelly shoes and gym bags. That funk from your sneakers is odor-causing bacteria thriving in warm, damp fabric. Here is your fix. Sprinkle a spoonful of baking soda inside, leave it overnight, and tip it out in the morning. It does double duty, it absorbs the lingering moisture the bacteria need, and it neutralizes the acids behind the smell itself. For shoes you wear constantly, this is a weekly habit worth keeping. It is far cheaper than replacing them, and treats the cause instead of fighting it with fragrance. Number 9, freshening a slow, smelly drain. Before you buy a harsh chemical cleaner, try this. Pour half a cup of baking soda down the drain, follow with half a cup of vinegar, let that dramatic fizzing work, then flush with hot water. The bubbling is carbon dioxide being released as the two react, and it lifts loose food debris and grime clinging inside the pipe, while the alkalinity cuts light grease. One honest limit, it loosens buildup but will not dissolve a solid, fully formed clog. For maintenance, it is perfect. Number 8, scrubbing sinks, tubs, and pots. This is baking soda's everyday workhorse job. Sprinkle it onto a damp sponge and scrub away soap scum, grime, and stuck-on food. The whole reason it works is that gentle abrasivity, only about a 7 on the scale, rough enough to grind away the mess, but soft enough that it will not scratch porcelain, ceramic, or stainless steel. It is the safe scrubber, the one you can hand to almost any surface without fear. No fumes, no gloves, just a little elbow grease and a dollar box. Number 7, the oven clean with no fumes. A dirty oven is one of the most dreaded jobs in the house, and most people reach for a can of eye-watering chemicals. You do not have to. Make a spreadable paste of baking soda and water, coat the greasy interior, and leave it overnight. By morning, the alkalinity has broken down the baked-on grease and food, and the mild grit helps you scrub it loose with a damp sponge. It takes patience rather than harsh chemicals and no fumes near the surface your food touches. Number 6, a laundry booster. Your detergent works harder with a quiet helper in the drum. Add about half a cup of baking soda to the wash along with your usual detergent. It softens hard water and balances the pH of the load, letting the detergent lift dirt and odor more effectively, and it neutralizes stubborn smells in the fabric itself. This is a generations-old laundry day habit that survives because it genuinely helps. It will not damage your clothes, costs almost nothing per load, and gives tired, dingy laundry a real freshness. Number 5, rescuing a scorched pot. We have all done it. Come back to a pan with a black welded-on layer that no scrubbing will budge. Do not throw it out. Cover the burnt layer with water, add a few tablespoons of baking soda, and bring it to a gentle simmer for a while. The combination of alkalinity and heat works underneath the carbonized residue and loosens its grip on the metal, so what felt permanent lifts away with a scraper. An old kitchen save that has rescued countless favorite pots from the trash. Number 4, making tarnished silver shine like new. This is the one that looks like magic. Line a bowl with aluminum foil, add a few spoonfuls of baking soda, lay your blackened silver on the foil so the two metals touch, and pour hot water over to cover. Within a minute or two, the tarnish simply vanishes, no scrubbing. What you are watching is a genuine electrochemical reaction. The black silver sulfide converts back into silver, and the sulfur migrates over to the aluminum foil. Chemistry departments demonstrate this exact reaction. Your silver comes out gleaming and no metal is lost. Now for the final 3. These are the ultimate staples, the ones that go beyond clever tricks into things everyone should know. If you remember nothing else from this whole video, remember these 3. Number 3. Smothering a small grease fire. This one could save your kitchen. If a small pan of grease catches fire, first turn off the heat and try to cover it with a metal lid. If you cannot, dump a large amount of baking soda straight onto the flames. As it hits the heat, it releases carbon dioxide, heavier than air, which smothers the fire by starving it of oxygen, while the water it forms cools things below the ignition point. Never throw water on a grease fire, and for anything but a tiny flame, get out and call the fire department. Number 2, the 1-jar all-purpose cleaner. If you stripped your cleaning cabinet to a single product, this could be it. Mix baking soda with a little water into a soft paste and use it on nearly everything. Countertops, the stovetop, cutting boards, tile, the sink. It works on 2 fronts at once, the mild abrasion scrubbing away stuck-on grime, while the alkalinity lifts and breaks down grease and food. One cheap jar quietly replaces a shelf full of specialized sprays with no harsh fumes and nothing you would worry about near where you prepare food. And number 1, the open box that conquers any odor. This is the one that lived in every corner of Yuki's kitchen. One in the refrigerator, one in the freezer, one tucked in the pantry, each just an open box quietly doing its work. It is the purest expression of everything on this list. That simple alkaline power to neutralize both the acidic and the basic molecules that make a space smell stale, pulling odors out of the air at the source instead of masking them. No trick, no method, just an open box of the cheapest thing on the shelf. So there they are, 31 uses for something that costs barely $1. That is the whole point. One humble box and its one quiet gift, the power to neutralize what is out of balance, turns up in your cooking, on your skin, and in every corner of your home. For Yuki, it was never a chemistry lesson. It was just what you kept within reach, the little white box that could fix almost anything. If this was useful, share it with someone who needs it, tell me your favorite down in the comments, and subscribe so the next batch of her tricks finds its way to you.